So today we have a few Japanese slang terms which all relate to gensho, or phenomenon. The first of which is kairuka gensho, or the phenomenon of turning into a frog, sometimes called frogification in English explanations. Now, it's difficult to say when this term first appeared, but if you check Google Trends, it's pretty clear that you started sometime around 2016, but really became popular in 2022. Indeed, in 2023, it topped a number of lists of the top slang being used by Japanese youth. And indeed, it's been featured in mainstream Japanese press, both written and visual. So while I cover a lot of obscure stuff on this channel, this term is actually one that is likely to be understood if you just speak to a normal Japanese person who goes outside and doesn't spend all day on the internet. So what does kairuka gensho actually mean? Well, this is somewhat controversial actually, as there are two meanings. The metaphor in both meanings is someone is turning into a frog. You know, you kiss the frog and they turn into a prince. Well, this turns someone that you liked into someone that you don't. But in the first meaning, it's because they show interest in you. So it's described, as you can see in this tweet, as a form of self-loathing. Now, the Google Translate here is kind of messing up, but they're saying that this is not referring to when you realize someone is lame and are no longer in love with them, but rather that you feel someone is strange for liking you, so you sort of have this self-loathing and disgust for yourself, which results in you no longer liking that person. This meaning is, I'd say, less popular, but it is out there, and some people feel very strongly that this is how you need to use kairuka gensho. But in most cases, it's actually that second meaning there, where you like somebody and then you suddenly find them to be a bit lame, and the kairuka gensho is the feeling you get caused by whatever small action that is. For example, in this tweet here, someone talks about how they frogify their interest in the actress Yui Aragi because she is shown all these delicious gyoza but then goes straight to eat the rice instead. The person's joking a bit, but the point is that this is a really, really small issue that's causing this loss of interest. You can see another example here where somebody talks about losing interest in somebody, with that person becoming a frog, because they pour their soy sauce into the top part of the plastic case for their sushi, which is seen to be a bit uncouth by some people. So in all these examples, what's really key is that the issue is really, really small. If your partner cheats on you, or breaks something that's really important to you, or has stolen your car, killed your dog, and set all your clothing on fire, that's not kairuka gensho. That's just a reasonable reason for not liking someone anymore. Kairuka is always something that you're kind of admitting is a bit of a silly reason, and it might not even be the key reason, but it is a small thing that at that moment you realized, I don't like that person anymore. At least as a romantic partner. Indeed, and there are metaphorical uses as well. The screenshot you're seeing here comes from a video where somebody showed their child suddenly just inexplicably losing interest in a toy, and they called that a form of kairuka gensho. The toy is now a frog, and the child doesn't want to play with the frog. The variant that came up of this is instead hebika gensho, which is the opposite. That is, you like someone so much that even if they do something which other people might find to be silly or a turnoff, you love them even more for it. The idea here being that, well, snakes eat frogs. The origin of this is said to be the TikTokers Kocha Mocha, who used this term in April of 2023.
俺の彼女はヘビ化現象。今世間で流行っているカエル化現象の逆バージョンだ。俺はよく鼻毛や鼻くそを表舞台に露出しているが、それを見た彼女は全く目立ちたがり屋さんなんだからと褒めてくれる。俺はよく失敗やダサいことをしてしまうが、その度に可愛いねと言ってくれる彼女。
Indeed, if you check the Google Trends, while I can't say, that they invented it and they never heard it anywhere, that's a huge jump in 2023. While this term is not as popular as kairuka gensho, it is enjoyed and people even play with it, as in this tweet, which comes from a video of somebody saying that they like it so much when people dance poorly that it actually an anaconda-ka, or an anaconda transformation, being, I guess, more than your average snake. They find it charming that the dances are bad and the people they're dancing don't care. Similarly, in this tweet here, you can see someone talk about how the fact that their idol actually tripped a bit while walking, something that might cause someone to be like, oh, a bit of a frog, is a snake for them, as they found them even more charming as a result. And while I did say this is less popular than the frog version, it has been featured in the news. So again, this is a term that you can feel at least a little bit safe using in public. The final variant, though, is a bit more obscure, and that is kingguka gensho, or kingification. This term was proposed also on TikTok by the creator Shugi on May 24th of 2023, and Shugi proposed this as different from both frogification and snakification in that kingguka gensho means that whatever the person does, it makes you laugh. So with frog, the awkward thing makes you fall out of love. With snake, the awkward thing makes you fall more in love. And with king, you just think that they're hilarious. Now, this sort of differentiation is really minor, and indeed some people are confused. So, for instance, in this tweet here, someone notes that their Oshi is kind of bad at using Twitter, and as a result, they find them cute. Well, if we're going by the strict meaning, that should be snakification, but they're calling it kingification. So I hope that this is actually a useful slang review, unlike the ones I normally do, although I do admit it might cause a bit of fear. After all, once you find out that a common example of frogification is just walking around with holding a tray at a food court and being seen doing that rather than going right to where your partner is, it does perhaps make it so you pay attention to every single behavior you do a bit too much. Indeed, I'm worrying right now that I've maybe talked a bit too long, which is frogifying your impression of me as a TikToker, so I'll just end that right there. See you next time.